So George plays defense. Andre is the blocker for Brazil in their traditional yellow and black vests. And of course, we'll see Italy in the blue and white vest. This is Italy's best team. This is Brazil's newest team. Fascinating clash ahead here with the first point on the board comfortably from Paolo Nicolai. 30 years of age now, Paolo, but they've been together for quite a while. They've won 3 European titles, the Italians, since 2011. 80 FIVB World Tour matches they've played together, and that experience for me may just give the Italians the edge over this new Brazilian duo, forming their partnership just 4 months ago, Dane, in April of 2018. We know Loyola's a rock star, youngest ever world champion. We know George is one of the rising stars out of the junior ranks. But for me today, I'm going to opt with the Europeans and give experience the thumbs up rather than youth and valor.
You know what? I'd have to agree with you, Nick. Paolo and Daniele Lupo, they've been playing for so long. A 5th place in 2012 in the London Games. They improve upon that. They bring home a silver medal in 2016. It has been some time, if you look at it, a bit of a dry spell. You'd have to go back to 2016 in Sochi, where they won their last FIVB title, so they would love to get back on top. You know, closing at the end has been an issue for this team.
One thing I want you to watch very carefully, Dane, with your coach's hat on rather than your commentator's hat. Lupo's coming off the back of an injury after the Doha 4-star event. I think it was a foot injury that he picked up. They've only had one FIVB World Tour event in Warsaw, Poland to prepare for this after a 3-month layout. With your coach's hat on, what would the advice that you'd be giving to Lupo, who's missed the lion's share of the build-up games to these World Championships?
Well, you know, you take it easy. You got to go with what you have right here. And if he has a slight injury and not 100%, he knows how to manage that. But this is a very important tournament. Remember, if they can pop here and really exceed expectations, bring home a world title, then guess what? He can shut it down for a while because he will have already gotten himself into the Olympics. We forget how big this tournament is, with a berth in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics on the line for both one men's and one women's team.
Thank you, Coach Dane. Spot on, as always. Now, let's get back to the action. Already a break for the Europeans at 4-2. Good swing of the ball there from Andre Loyola Stein. Just goes by Andre on court.
What a beautiful pass there by Andre Loyola Stein. The approach line, a little wiggly, jumping outside at the end, but that creates a little deception, and Lupo cannot get that ball up.
Beautiful serve receive and excellent attacking play from Daniele Lupo. Still only 28 years of age, out of Rome, where we'll play the World Tour Finals on the FIVB Tour this year in September. But it's a good start for the Europeans, good start for Italy. Still holding on to that 2-point break at 5-3. Lupo with the service. Serves Loyola on the attack for Brazil. Over the top of the block, and spectacular leave of the ball. He committed with the dive. I love the way he pulls his arms into his chest to avoid any contact on the ball.
Daniele Lupo looking solid right there. Complete read on that play. Defensively, he's there if he wants to play it. Realizes that ball's going to go long. Has that smart volleyball IQ, of course, to let it go out.
Oh,
that's
look
legal.
at this. That is legal. And the ball is away. That is an amazing shot. Great save from Paolo Nicolai. Let's have a close look at this one in slow motion. It's got to be the save of the tournament so far.
Yeah, this is incredible, and you don't see this play very often. If the ball is dug, which it is, outside the antenna, well, you can pull it back to your side as long as it's outside the antenna. And I don't think I've ever seen a set from that position So good. Lupo cannot believe it and goes up and absolutely crushes it. Take a look at Nicolai under the net. Keeps his composure, puts it up. The Brazilians actually think that this play is over as Andre watches. And this is one of the most spectacular saves you will ever see. Daniele Lupo finishing it off. The Brazilians a little bit stunned.
That is the play of the 12th FIVB World Championships of 2019. And it's come from the Italians, Lupo and Nicolai. The crowd still applauding. George sets up Andre, keeping their calm, Brazil. That amazing save from Italy took the Italians 4 clear, but Loyola holding his nerve.
Yeah, you know, I still am in awe by Paolo Nicolai running that ball down. And one thing to save it, but he did one hand, flipped it up, and it was the perfect set. I don't know how it ended up where it did. The physics behind that and the science that all had to line up for that play to be successful. Just incredible.
Well, both teams playing with confidence. You can clearly see that. Both teams undefeated. The Italians beating Mozambique and Austria. This is the big game of Pool H. Of course, the 2 high-seeded teams. Same story for Brazil. Firstly, beating Austria, but being taken to a 3-set tiebreak by Robin Seidel and Philip Vella, I should say, and also beating Mozambique. So both teams coming in undefeated, but the Brazilians the only team to drop a set. Service ace just when it was needed. Beautiful placement of the ball on that jump float from Andre Loyola.
The serve from line down the line is one of the most difficult serves, so hard to pinpoint, so much room for error, but this is how you do it. Wanderley putting it right on what we call the X, where those 2 lines intercept. You couldn't have placed that serve any better.
Oh, there's the block from Andre Loyola at the net.
Nice pass by Nicolai, and then Lupo tries to go over on that second contact. Andre Loyola Stein up, it hits his left arm, his right arm, and bounces to the open court on the Italian side. The Brazilians have gotten themselves right back in this with 3 consecutive points.
Lovely strike of the ball from Paolo Nicolai. A giant of a man at just over 2 meters tall, 6 feet 8. Doesn't miss many of those. 9-7 to Italy. Side out from Brazil needed here. Lovely little short serve. Well, I think credit where it's due, Dane. Loyola at 1.4 points behind Italy, having a brilliant opening set, pulling his team right back into this match. And now he's firing on all cylinders. Just about every shot that he places down on the Italian sand. Here he is with service. Nicolai again. Love the way the Italian crowds cheer them on. 1, 2, 3! And down that ball goes. They always bring a lot of support with them, the Italian. European champions, and of course Olympic silver medalists. Here's the big man, Nicolai, with the jump float. Oh, a jump power serve. George now, attack. Oh, wonderful shot.
We're getting a chance to see some really high-level volleyball right here, and that's what happens when you're playing in a world championship. Both these teams have already played a couple of matches, so they've worked out any cobwebs or anything like that, and now they're both trying to seek their 3rd victory in pool play, which would win the pool and really put them in good position in the knockout round. Oh, what a cover right there by Lupo.
Good play by Italy. A couple of pretty serious jousts at the net, but the Europeans hold on to their break now at 11-9. Now, when the next point is decided, we'll go for the technical timeout, halfway point of this opening set. Great play from Daniel Lupo there, lying back on the sand and still punching that ball up to keep it in play.
I like that running jump float serve that he's got. That ball touches either the blocker or the defender. Nonetheless, point for Brazil as we take the technical timeout.
30-second break, halfway point of the opening set. Italy drew 4 clear at one point in the first half of this set, but Brazil literally played themselves back into the match. Very tight, as expected. This is the big matchup of Pool H. Both the Italians and the Brazilians undefeated. But of course, it's these gentlemen, the blue and white for Italy, with so much experience on their side. Such a long-standing team. And in stark contrast, on the other side of the net, the Brazilians only been playing together for 4 months. But still, after 1 month together, took a bronze on the FIVB World Tour at the Xinyang 4-star event in China a couple of months ago.
There's a good look at Paulo Nicolai, 6'8". He jumps so well, and he's just a giant of a man and plays at such a high level. Highest spike of Paulo Nicolai, 3.42 meters, just getting up huge. Playing at a really high level up there. And you know, it's interesting. I asked Ellers from Germany after that last match how difficult it is when you face someone who's as big as you. When you're 6'11", usually you have the advantage, but in this competition, wow, there are a lot of players that are 6'8", 6'9", and up, and it's very interesting to see those players respond when they go up against one another.
Brazil with the service. Here's Italy on the attack. Oh, and he's clipped that way too hard. And it looks like that the Italians may well go for a touch block here. Yep. Paulo Nicolai pretty sure that that strike of the ball touches the fingers. Look carefully. Yes. Good call from Paulo Nicolai. There's a clear touch on the block from Brazil. That will give the point to Italy. 12-10 the scoreline will be. If we can see it on our replay, we can definitely see it when Hawkeye picks it up.
Yeah, this shouldn't take long to figure out. We've got a real clear picture with our game cam right there. Perfect angle. It really got a big piece of the left thumb of Andre Loyola Stein, and I think the Brazilians know it as well. They're ready to receive. They're all tied up on the left. So obvious, I'm surprised that it wasn't called initially by a line judge, because that's what you're watching, almost 100%.
So the scoreboard is adjusted. So the challenge was postponed there. I'm just hearing in my headphones from our live director, Mickey Kugler. Actually, what happened, the reason why we didn't go through the Hawkeye process there, is that Andre Loyola saw the slow-mo from our TV cameras and said, okay, let's not go through this challenge business. I admit that I did it. Let's get on with the game. So real sportsmanship from Loyola. The advantage back with Italy. Good turn and burn as well from the man in question, Andre Loyola. Oh, that's a shame. After such a dynamic move, spikes the ball into his own half.
Everybody trying to record these memories right here, but here's one memory that Andre Loyola Stein would like to erase. He let that ball drop just for a quick second, and that ball ends up into the net. That's how quickly it can happen. You don't realize most of these players make it look so easy, but if that ball drops just a couple inches, it does not clear the net. And how about Brazil right there, getting themselves out of all sorts of trouble The ball passed almost 30 feet off the net, and they're able to adjust, recover, and then get the kill.
You called it earlier, Dane. We know the World Championships is the pinnacle of the season. It's the biggest event on the FIVB World Tour by a long way, but the quality of play, even in the pool play, has been extraordinary over the past 6 days. And here's Brazil digging deep, leveling the scores at 13-all after such a good start for the Europeans. Brazil now starting to stamp their authority on this opening set. Loyola with service for Brazil. Oh, a bit of confusion between the Italian players. Both Paolo Nicolai and Daniel Lupo going for the ball, and Lupo getting quite a thump here from his partner.
We've seen that so many times. The hubby-wife, husband and wife, down the middle. I got it, you take it. They dispute, and guess what? It ends up being an ace. It is the most vulnerable part of the court when serving, right in the middle. You want to cause that confusion. And if you have a rip of a jump serve down the middle, it can even be more effective because it gets there a lot quicker. So jump float, traditional rip of a jump serve, it's all good if you can hit that sweet spot down the middle.
Lupo to the left, Nicolai to the right. Two serve receive errors from the Italians. This one could have been a lot worse than it was. Lupo almost punching his partner in the face there.
What I did like, though, the platforms were really good by both of them. They were just both there and ran into each other. It's so important as a passer to get that platform out very early and communicate in really a blink of an eye.
Brazil take the lead for the first time in the second half of this opening set. But here comes Italy, meaning business, looking to find another gear. 14-all, 28 total on the board, which means a quick side switch. There's no real advantage from either end of the court. A little chilly out there maybe would be the only complaint today, but not a lot of wind. And the Red Bull Beach Arena, perfect for today's pool and elimination rounds coming up later on centre court. That service is a little too long from the big man of Italy, Paolo Nicolai. 15-14. Here's the newcomer, George Wanderley. Oh, big block for Brazil. Second stuff block for Andre Loyola.
Look at his timing. He delays his jump just slightly after Paolo Nicolai, so he is on the rise when that shot takes place. He's able to swat it to the backcourt. Technically, really solid right there by Loyola Stein.
It's the first break that Brazil have had in this opening set. Oh, and Lupo's hit that too hard as well. Just got a little under the ball and off balance. 3 clear now, Brazil. We're in the business end of the opening set. And now Italy are under pressure. George Wanderley. Good play. A very important side out for Italy to try and stop the momentum of the Brazilians here.
That's the right call, the right shot. Really impressed with Andre Loyola Stein's blocking. He's technically in the right spot. Just fortunately on that one for Italy, Paolo Nicolai reads it well, but more times than not, if you're putting that ball way out of bounds, so Italy will get another one back.
This is going to be a tight opening set. Forced errors from Brazil allow Italy back into the match. And the Brazilians have seen enough. They call their timeout. Each team can call 1 timeout per set. And what that means is a 30-second break in play. And of course, the aim or the skill is to use it at the right time in that set to either break the momentum of the opposition or reassess your own situation from a tactical perspective. And the reason why Brazil have called it is because Italy have come right back into this match when they were 3 clear, what feels like just a few moments ago, Dane.
Both these teams really going back and forth. You know, Brazil got themselves back in it, and it's great this team, a very new team, got together in April, and Wanderley there on the left, he's a U19 and a U21 world champion. This is his first real senior world champs, and we've documented it well. Andre Loyola Stein becoming the youngest world champ in 2017 with his partner Evandro. 64 degrees, a little drizzle on the court. It's getting a lot cooler than it was a few days ago, and we were upwards of 35 to 37 degrees.
That's an amazing save from Lupo. And you can't give the Italians balls like that. Free ball just about for Italy to tie the scores at 17-all. But it was this remarkable dig from Lupo. Just gets his hands there in the right time. Almost scores the point going over on 1. But it's his partner who puts it away with power and skill. Paolo Nicolai levels the scores at 17-all. That's what I like about Loyola, Dane, is that when the chips are down, he just dismisses it immediately and gets back to his game plan. Very impressive athlete.
And you know, I think we bring that up a lot. A lot of younger players are playing with a lot more composure, where they don't really get rattled. They're down 2 or 3 points. They come right back, and they're almost like a machine. Nothing can phase him, and he's really not that emotional if you look at him. It's very, keeps his emotions to himself and just goes at it every time.
And there he is again with a service error, Loyola. But he will have forgotten about it within a split second of losing that point, and he's back to business as usual.
You know, you contrast that with another Brazilian like a Pedro, someone who is really emotional, really loves to get the crowd involved, and it's just 2 different styles of play. I'll tell you, from an entertainment standpoint, it's really fun to watch Pedro Solberg because of that interaction with the crowd. But everyone's got a different style, and you got to do whatever it is that works for you.
3 back-to-back service errors, 2 from Brazil and 1 from Italy. So the scores are all tied at 19-all. This is Daniel Lupo. Jump float to Loyola. They're sticking with that service plan, and Loyola strikes that one too hard. A long way out of bounds. Set point for Italy at 20-19. Now, it may be getting a little drizzly and cold out there, but this will set the Italian fans alight if they can pull this off. Loyola on the attack for Brazil. Oh, a lovely little poke on the ball to deceive the block of Paolo Nicolai. We're all tied at 20 points all. Brazil still in this opening set.
Yeah, you just don't know where this one's going to go. It's been so much back and forth, a little streaky here and there, and it's all about getting hot at this position. You want to position yourself so you are close at that business end, as you like to say, Nick, and then you strike. You take advantage of your opportunities. Nicolai right there with a beautiful sharp angle.
Can Italy close it out this time? Set point number 2 for the Europeans. 3 times the European champions in their career since 2011. It's the big man, Nicolai, with the serve. Continues to target Andre. Andre over the top of the block. The cover is there from Lupo. Italy keep the ball up, but they're out of position. George Waverley with such an important shot. A massive side out for Brazil. The ball is just in play. The scores are all tied at 21-all.
Look at that defense. A one-handed stab and then a little bit of a back flipper by Nicolai, and Lupo keeps it in play, but then the Italians never recover. They get in position, but the Brazilians strike a little too quick.
Oh, lovely court vision from Nicolai there. Watching both the Brazilians drop off the net, puts it beautifully short. Set point number 3 for Italy. with Lupo to take service. Another great play. Well, question for you, Dane. Should the Italians start to mix it up a little bit with their serve? Continually going to Loyola, which means he's always on the attack, Andre. Maybe a quick one into George.
You know, Paolo Nicolai is a solid blocker, and most blockers like hitters. And so Andre Loyola-Stein is a hitter, and so he would rather deal with him rather than the shots of Wanderley. Look at that read by George Wanderley, and can he put it away?
Oh!
Yes.
Spectacular save from Brazil. George Wanderley, who's been cut out of most of the action of this match due to the Italian service. When he gets his chance, well, he makes it count.
Really anticipated this well, got it up, got caught in the net for a second, gave Loyola-Stein just a split second to reposition right here and put up a decent set. Wanderley comes in, surveys the court, and then goes over the right shoulder of Lupo for the winner, and Wanderley's starting to feel it.
Set point for Brazil now. What a turnaround this has been for the South Americans. Can they finish it? Andre to serve. Serves the big man on the attack now. Nicolai, he's not going to miss those, is he? Paolo Nicolai ties the scores at 23 all.
Really late on the block is Andre Loyola. You know, he's delaying that block because he has had some success when the shot is broken out. But for the hard hit, he's got to get up a little earlier, a little more often.
More confusion between the two Brazilians, but they sort themselves out. Oh, and as Paolo Nicolai drops off the net, maybe looking at the ball for a split second too long, Andre puts it into the net. Fourth set point for Italy. Paolo Nicolai to serve it up. It's a lovely little jump float. It stays at Andre Loyola. Oh, well, he missed the block, but the ball and the strike from Andre Loyola was out of play. Italy take the first set, 25-23.
Nice short serve right here. Continuing to go to Loyola-Stein, and what does he do? He challenges Paolo Nicolai, but it goes right through his arms, out of bounds long, and just like that, the Italians have a one-set advantage. I'll tell you what, Nick, that could have gone either way, no question about it. Really high-level volleyball, both teams sticking to a game plan, but it's the Italians' game plan of going to Paolo Nicolai that is successful. 7 unforced errors by Brazil. Side-out percentage about equal. They made up for those unforced errors with their aces on the backcourt, 3-0. And so Italy just edging Brazil in set number 1. Let's take a look at Italy's serve placement, compliments of the Hawkeye system. Andre Loyola-Stein, 83%. Rarely do you see the percentage that high, but Italy is making it no secret they would like to defend against Andre Loyola-Stein rather than George Wanderley.
Fascinating, really. I questioned it halfway through the set whether it was the right tactic. The scoreline proves me wrong. Italy take the first set 25-23. The Brazilians must win the second to force this match into a third set tiebreak. And now let's see how the young Brazilian players deal with the pressure, as Italy look to pick it up where they left off at the end of that first set, with Daniel Lupo serving. First point on the board for Brazil. Just serving the ball a little too deep and long. Rally point scoring, remember, in beach volleyball, whether you're serving or serve receiving, whichever side of the court the ball lands on, the opposition takes the point. Nice touch there again from Paolo Nicolai. Scores will tied at 1-1. Big jump. Loyola expecting the spike. Nice open hand. Cut shot drops too short for the defense. First point of set 2 on the board for Italy. There's the big man with the jump power serve. George Wanderley, well, wasn't expecting that at over 60 miles per hour.
Well, that's what you do. What do? You lull the other player to sleep. Wanderley has not seen a serve in quite some time, and what does Palau Nicolai do? He comes up and just bombs it cross court. Little wake-up call for Wanderley, and Nicolai starting to feel it. Misses that one a little bit long, but so much strategy at this level. And you're talking about a world champion right there, and Andre Loyola on the other side of the net, Olympic silver medalist. I mean, top of your class right here. This could be a final. We're just talking about the third round of a pool play match, and Brazil scrapping, groveling right there, but cannot keep the ball in play. I think this is going to go very similar to the first set. A lot of back and forth, and who steps up at the very end is going to get the victory. I don't see anyone getting huge separation throughout the set.
You've called it perfectly, Dane. This could easily be the gold medal match. Spectacular volleyball. Look at that save from Lupo. And he finds a lovely, cute angle.
Look how big that block is, how much area it's taking. Daniel Lupo is one of the taller defenders in the backcourt. I mentioned that earlier, 6'5". You know, you'd think he could block her, but standing next to his partner, who is 6'8", doesn't look quite 6'5". Here comes Lupo.
Good play from Italy. Back set comes from his partner, Nicolai. A little bit of a shank of the ball on the serve receive. That gets Brazil out of position.
See how solid the block is. I think Stein right there netted on the way down, but he's getting frustrated. Why? Because he's not getting the blocks that he's accustomed to.
Look how hard Andre has been worked by the Italians. 60 jumps in comparison to just 52 of his opponents at the net. Of course, that's Palau Nicolai. They really are putting the pressure on the young world champion, Andre Loyola, the Italians, trying to wear him out more than anything by the look of it.
It's really unique, you know, that they're choosing to go to him. He's such an offensive force, and Wanderley right there, almost with an ace. But that's what makes Daniel Lupo so good. Pass that tough serve, kind of neutralize it, don't let you get on a run, and then he comes in offensively. Look how big that block is he's dealing with. But his accuracy and his finesse is on point.
It's difficult not to be a Daniel Lupo fan, isn't it, really? He's got a real bit of character and joie de vivre about the way he plays on court. A little bit of attitude to go with it as well. This is an important side out for the Brazilians to keep the Italians within 2 points. Andre Loyola with service. Sends it to the big man Nicolai. He's going to belt this. Oh, and he proves us all wrong. Great block at the net from Loyola.
Right down the line, anticipated so well by Lupo. And then nice platform bump set by Palau Nicolai. You see Lupo come in, eyes on the ball. He takes a look at the defender and cannot get it done right there. So Brazil's point.
Oh, that ball bounces on the top of the net and out of play.
You know, I always say that, Nick, when you go angle, you better hit it clean, because you clip the top of the net. It's very rare that it stays in bounds. There's a lot of tension up in that net, and if it bounces once or twice on the net, it just runs out and out of bounds.
Well, the Italians think the ball was good. Nicolai thinks the ball touched the line. So, challenge ball in or out from Italy to try and reverse the point on the board for the Brazilians.
We keep talking about the looks, right? Paulo Nicolai, he's got the beard going. His partner, Daniele Lupo, he's got that little look. We've talked about Nick Lucena and Pedro Solberg Salgado. It's just the in thing. That ball looks like, ooh, they're saying it's out. The line jumped, and I guess what they're ruling is that the sand hit the line. That was very interesting.
So close. Good call, unlucky for Italy. Brazil tie the scores at 6-all. And Andre Loyola puts the ball into play. Again, targeting Nicolai this time with his service. Nicolai smashes that ball. Wanderley has the cover, and the over on 2 from Loyola catches the Italians just watching the ball. Definitely not expecting that play from Brazil.
Well, it was the set by Wanderley. He put it right in a hittable position. The Italians didn't know what exactly to do, and then Loyola Stein going deep in the court. Sometimes the smart thing is to go deep over the shoulders of your opponent rather than trying to hit that ball straight down. Smart play right there by the 24-year-old Stein.
Yeah, he enjoyed that play. Definitely he enjoyed that. So the Italians call a timeout because, as you see, out of the 6 points on the board, Italy have won 1. And 5 out of the last 6 going to Brazil. But it's the 4-point run of points that gives Italy no choice to call their timeout rather early. Just to the left of your screens with his traditional cap up. Sometimes it's sideways, sometimes behind. That's Daniel Lupo. Brings a lot of attitude to the court as well as skill and style.
Yeah. Nick, I think you should grow out the beard and let the hair grow a little long. That seems to be the trend.
Yeah, problem for me is mine would be more Father Christmas-like than Nick Lucena or Daniel Lupo. That's my concern, so I think I'll have to pass on that one.
That'd be more distinguished.
Brazil looking to continue the score roll. That's very important side out for Italy. Justifies the call of burning out their one and only timeout in this second set very early. But most importantly, stops that momentum of 5 points out of 6 for Brazil. Lupo continues to serve Loyola. He's having no luck at all with the block.
I think they may want to challenge this. Andre Loyola Stein thinks that the blocker, Nicolai, may have touched it, but let's take a look here. No, he missed it. That's all into the net and out of bounds, so they have decided not to challenge, and Italy up by 1.
Now that timeout looks like one of the best decisions they've made today. That over on 2 shots, effective for a second time of asking. Let's not forget that the Brazilians have to win this second set to stay in the match. So understandably, there's just a greater sense of urgency from the South American game than that of the Italians right now.
Oh, great touch by Andre Loyola Stein, but Wanderley could not get there in time. Kind of a swat. He's waiting for the shot. He goes up high, gets a good part of the ball, but it's just not enough time for the defender.
Well, Nicolai, when he gets that serve right, it's very difficult to stop. That really powerful jump serve, but that was way too long. Scores are tied at 9-all, but Italy have won the first set 25-23 if you're just joining us live here at the Red Bull Beach Arena. Lupo, Nicolai, cross court, spikes it to the body and feet of George Wanderley. Advantage back with Italy at 10-9.
It's been a battle, but they have kept Loyola Stein out of it at the net, and they have kept him very active in terms of his offense. Look at that. That is a shanked ball, but somehow Wanderley gets himself involved and cuts it to the open court. This, I thought, was going to be a point for Italy. An errant pass, but look at Wanderley going one way and hitting the ball the other direction. Great athletic play, just out of reach of Lupo. And Wanderley trying to insert himself as much as he can.
Wonderful flexibility to avoid a net touch there as well, as he was moving really quickly through the air. Scores are tied at 10-all. Here is George Wanderley serving for Brazil. Serving Lupo on the attack now for Italy. Yes, Lupo gives Italy the lead going into the tech timeout, halfway point of the second set. Italy lead Brazil by 11 points to 10, but 1 set to 0.
Great jump serve by Wanderley, but look how easy. Lupo puts a platform out, passes it, and then chops it down with the right side of the ball. Great cut shot and a great put away.
Well, the gentleman on the right of your screens, Loyola, Andre as he goes by on court, Andre Loyola Stein. World Championship gold medalist 2 years ago in Vienna in Austria, but with a different partner, Ivandro, of course. And Ivandro and Bruno Schmidt still in the competition as well. But they need to find another gear here, the Brazilians. Because this was the tactical play that denied them the first set. I'm trying to think of ways the Brazilians can freshen this up, try and just put the Italians on the back foot a little, because Italy seem to be giving us a blueprint of that first set as we head into the second part of set number 2.
Yeah, you know what? I like what Brazil's doing. I like the positioning. There's a net violation, I believe, on Nicolai, so point Brazil there, and we're all tied up at 11. They're doing the proper things right now. They're playing at a high level. You're talking about a silver medalist team in Italy on the other side of the net, so they're just exchanging blows, but where it counts, I'm telling you, when we get to about 17 or 18 on the score, that's when you have to make plays. It really doesn't matter what you did in the first part. It's all about the finish.
So the referee has called that ball out that Lupo just played. Lupo's called a challenge. Ball in or out, I think the challenge will be. And quite important. Touch on the blue net line. I don't see a touch. Again, it is so close. They're good calls from the Italians. But no more challenges you hear from a referee, Pristovakin of Russia. That's it. All burned out. Lupo for Italy. Beaten by the block on Andre Loyola. Big score for Brazil. And a break on the board at 13-11.
Finally for Loyola Stein, he gets up. He's continuing to be patient and take his area. The worst thing you can do as a blocker is if you're not successful, you start losing discipline and waving your arms and going in different spots. Andre Loyola hasn't done that. He stayed patient. That's why he got that last block.
Loyola with a jump float to Nicolai. Now on the attack. Great play from Nicolai. Such a big man and such a big arm swing. You think he's going to spike that ball. And then at the last minute, just a little bit of finesse on the ball. And it drops down in front of Loyola rather than to the back of the court. No answer from Brazil.
So interesting, this Italian team, their best finish in the World Championships is only a 9th. That was in Stara Jablonki, Poland in 2013. We've got 17th in The Hague in 2015 and 17th in Vienna as Andre Loyola crushes that ball. But a bit of a surprise, those finishes just barely inside the top 10 for a team that pulled off a silver medal in the Rio Olympics. Look at this hit. Loyola Stein sensing the line is open. And Lupo's there, but that ball hit about 3 feet in front.
George Wanderley to serve for Brazil. That's a good serve. Nicolai picks it up and now looks to finish. Goes short, but Wanderley covers again. George with the shot. Lupo has the cover. Oh, and no choice. 3 clear now, Brazil.
Scrapping and trying to figure it out here. Nicolai gets blocked. It looks like Lupo has that ball covered, but Paulo Nicolai reaches back, does not know his partner's there. Solid defense, but that's half the battle. Putting it away is the other half, and Brazil does not allow it there.
This is George Wanderley. Continues to serve the Italian blocker. Oh, and another spectacular block from the Brazilian side of the court. Loyola. 3 very quick blocks in this second set. Start to put pressure on the Italians now. Italy drawing 4 points clear in this second set.
Solid. There's the patience. Look at him. Up, over. He pushes his head forward, which brings the arms even more forward and over the net. And as that ball is ricocheted off his hands, it goes straight down. We have not seen this. A 4-point lead by Brazil. They are in control.
Again, the cover is there from George. Italy tried to build once again. And Loyola's done another block. Now they are flowing. Let's not forget Italy have used up their timeout, used up all of their challenges. They are struggling here.
No way to stop the momentum, right? It's a net violation by Lupo. Didn't really matter because before it happened, there's a stuff block. And Andre Loyola Stein is absolutely on fire. I love seeing him at the net full time rather than alternate with his former partner, Evandro.
Finally, a point on the board for Italy as it just touches the fingers of Loyola, but goes out of play on the attack from Italy. 13-17 for the Italians. Can they dig themselves out of this hole and wrap up this final match of Pool H, 2-0? The way the Brazilians are playing right now, I have a feeling we're going to a third set tiebreak here. Oh, well, eat my words, says the Italian. Paulo Nicolai, what a jump serve right down the middle of the Brazilian court.
Has such an effective serve, but consistency is an issue. Great rotation, but more importantly, the position is so good. The Brazilians just froze.
There's another one, almost back-to-back aces from the Italian. That's good play from Brazil. That is a huge side out for the South Americans. 18-14. Another beautiful serve.
Crushing that ball. Not a ton of topspin rotation, which makes it even more difficult to pass. And you saw Lupo sliding into the line instead of starting at the line and being neutral. He was unable to move to his right to make that defensive play.
Loyola with the service. Nicolai just about keeps it under control, but comes back with a beautiful attacking shot. Well, he may be struggling a little, Nicolai, with the serve receive. He's got no problems when he's attacking at the net. Keeping the Italian hopes alive here. Just takes the ball a little too high on his arms to give him the control that he was hoping for, but there's nothing wrong with this shot.
And that's a difficult shot. I mean, he's 10 feet off the net. The Brazilians have to be ready for that. They're a little bit too dug in for that power shot, but when Nicolai rips that power ball, he earns the right to go short, keeping the defense guessing all the time.
Little float serve from Lupo. And again, it's the block of Paulo Nicolai that may be letting him down just a little bit in this second set. Hasn't put one block down in set number 2.
Yeah, it's been all Andre Loyola at the net.
That's out of play. Set point for Brazil.
second opportunity here for Nicolai. He tries to rip it cross court. No touch and out of bounds as he falls back. And Brazil, really in the second half of this set, has taken control.
Good timing from Nicolai there. Kept his calm, a patient shot. But it's still second set point for Brazil. Side out here for the South Americans, and we're heading to a third set tiebreak. And the service error hands it nice and easily. Italy win the first 25-23, but lose the second 16-21 as we head into a third set. Now we head to 15 points, not 21 in the third set tiebreak. Side switch on 5 rather than 7. Referee Kristovarkin. Brazil have won the toss. George Wanderley just checks with Loyola. And the Brazilians put the Italians into serve to kickstart this third set. Dane, no surprise to see Brazil take that second set. From the beginning of this broadcast, we knew this would be a very close match, but it's the block stat that has me a little concerned. 7 for Loyola, 0 for Nicolai.
Yeah, Loyola has been patient. He waited because he wasn't that effective in that first set. But the second set, I believe he had 4 or 5 blocks who really boosted his numbers, really got some separations from the Italians. And if Loyola Stein can block as he did in the second set in this third set tiebreaker, the Italians will be in all sorts of trouble. Italy either has to start scoring more from the back line, which Paolo Nicolai was trying. He was trying to turn it up, got a couple of aces there. But more importantly, he's got to be a little more aggressive at the net and be more of a force, because that net play is being won by Loyola Stein, and it is a huge difference right now. The question, can Brazil continue to own the net?
One set all in the final match of Pool H. The winner of this will top the pool and go into the draw, and it's a lovely little opening play from the Italians. That little poke ball over the top from Daniele Lupo. First point on the board for Italy. It's a little bit of a sprint, this third set tiebreak, when you're heading to 15 rather than 21 total points on the board. That is out of play, an easy point back for Brazil.
Yeah, I don't anticipate either team changing strategy. They're going to continue on and see what works. There's a solid jump float serve. Out of bounds. Nicolai, not sharp right there. He passed the ball to the right, which pulled his entire approach in. Had to hit it in a bit of an awkward spot and makes an error.
Loyola with the service. Little hesitation between the two Italians, but they sort it out and take the point. Side out for Italy, 2 points all.
Just squeaking that ball by Andre Loyola. Has been in a groove as a blocker. Look at him press there. That right hand maybe just slightly not tense enough, and that ball just squeaks through. Fortunate for the Italians.
It's another good service from Nicolai. Oh, the flag stays down, and I fear that Daniel Lupo left that purposely. He's there. He thinks the ball's going out. And when you're in a third set tiebreak and you're in position to play, I don't think you should take the gamble, Dane.
Yeah, you want to play those close ones, really control your own destiny. I think he might have taken a bit of a shallow line. And there's Loyola Stein. This is what you have to watch out for if you are Italy. The block has been dominant. Kind of sneaky as well, right? The first set didn't make a lot of noise, and then he all of a sudden caught fire. And here He is scoring points at will as a blocker. Italy needs to make an adjustment, avoid that block, and make Wanderley make a defensive play rather than get stuffed. Oh, that almost hit. Yes. Paolo Nicolai.
Well, this is interesting. Replay from our director. Seems like something's dropped in the sand or something's been lost. Time to refocus on the match.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. He definitely misplaced something, Paolo Nicolai. You know, a lot of players when they play have lost wedding rings, rings that are on their finger, and who knows? He was looking intently, but that would take a long time to find.
Accidentally or on purposely are they losing their wedding rings?
Accidentally.
Of course.
I've seen it happen, and oh wow, an overpass by Brazil. Italy crushing that ball.
Yes, you can't give a free ball like that to the European champions. Olympic silver medalists, Italy. Lupo with the service. Continue with the same game plan of targeting Loyola. Good cover from Lupo. Now, can Italy finish here and take the break? Oh, and it looks like Loyola touched that one. 6-4 to Italy. Total of 10 points on the board, so a quick side switch. There's the little touch of the fingers as he goes up for the block.
Such an accurate shot right between that left arm and the antenna. Just a sliver of an opening, and Lupo knows how to hit it. Andre Loyola working the hardest of any player out there. 703 kcals burned, 102 jumps. Look at the difference, 102 for Andre Loyola, 50 for Lupo in the backcourt. So both Lupo and Wanderley are not getting serves. Italy has targeted Andre Loyola. Stein and Brazil, they have targeted Paolo Nicolai. Tried to create a player there by putting the Italians together. Paolo Nicolai has got the majority of the serve, so.
Well, it's the blocking game of Loyola that's been most impressive. 8 blocks against his name. And I like to see this gentleman up at the net, his opposition blocker for Italy, Paolo Nicolai, get a few more down, because Loyola here is in the form of his life when it comes to blocking at the net day.
Yeah, and he's done it so many different ways. He's blocked the low ball, he's blocked the power, he's waited and swatted the ball at times. He's just holding his composure and taking away a huge area and getting far on the Italian side, taking away their angles.
So let's see if the timeout works for Brazil. Loyola on the attack for the South Americans, and the justification for calling that early timeout pays dividends. A very important side out for Loyola, and George just 1 point away from the Italians. Italy will look to side out here on Loyola's service. Loyola serving Nicolai. Oh, and there's another fumble. Miss-hit from the Italian blocker allows Brazil to tie the scores at 6-all.
Just when Italy, you think they're getting some traction, they give it back. And look at that, too far on the right side of the ball. He tries to cut it just a little too sharp. It doesn't even make it to the net. Rarely do you see an error such as that out of Paolo Nicolai.
Immediately makes amends for the error on the play before. Side out for Italy, 7 points to 6 against Brazil. 1 set all. This is a 3rd set tiebreak here in the Red Bull Beach Arena, and this could go either team's way. If you've been following us since the beginning of this match, some amazing volleyball. Either team could take it. Loyola is having an exceptional game, but Wanderley, who's been carved out of this match, when he does get his opportunity, 9 times out of 10 makes it work. Here's George Wanderley with service. Goes by George on his shirt and on court.
Well, that is really nice offense right there by Italy. The set coming from way off the net. And this is a really great sign of a great team. Italy not panicking. Paolo Nicolai setting Lupo way at the net. And somehow he finds that corner, still getting about 84 kilometers per hour of velocity on that ball. And that's called getting out of trouble.
And here is Lupo with that familiar jump float. Good shot from Loyola.
Did you see Lupo jump? He jumped to his left, and that's the big trick as a defender. You want to stay steady. Do not move until you see the hitter, but easier said than done. He moves to the left, cannot readjust and move to the right. So he's only a few feet away from it, but his momentum is moving the wrong direction.
Knew he'd made the mistake as soon as he saw the play. Oh, that's a good save from George. Finally, the Italian fans see the big block of Paolo Nicolai. Can you believe it? That's his first of the match.
And this comes at a time where he needs to save a point. And he gets up. Andre Loyola does not see him there. Loyola Stein thinks it's an open net, so smart play by Lupo, and the Italian fans absolutely loving it.
Hopefully this is the start of more to come from the Italian. Oh, again. 60 miles an hour plus on the speed of the ball. You can't drive your car that quick in most areas around the Rottenbound Stadium. But he's long, too long.
You know, and I'd like to see Paolo Nicolai put a little more topspin on his serve. He's hitting it with a ton of velocity, but there's no way the ball has rotation enough to get a downward trajectory. It's hit too flat, and therefore he's missing a lot of them long. This time he climbs the ladder for a line shot. And that forward spin rotation on the ball, when you crack your wrist and really contact it with your swing, can be a huge difference.
Good shot again from Loyola. The Italians have targeted this man with most of their service play, but he's found the answers on numerous occasions. Loyola with another spectacular strike on the ball. So whoever takes this next point will have the advantage going in to a break. Good shot from the Italian.
Big hit cross court. Wanderley's there, can't make the play. So the question is, who is going to step up here in the end? Is it going to be Loyola Stein, or is it going to be Paolo Nicolai? This seems like this match has been about those two players.
But we're only heading to 15 rather than 21. There's no technical timeout now. We just keep playing through. Great control from the Italians. Great finesse from Daniele Lupo. And that's the break that the Italians were looking for when we're in a tie-break third set. 15 points, too clear if you are. We'll seal it for Italy. Brilliant stuff. How can Italy hold their nerve? Nicolai, I should say, with the service. Big side out for the Brazilians. Still keeping their hopes high in this third set tie-break. Italy won the first 25-23. Then the Brazilians came back 16-21. Now, George, a big serve to Lupo. But Lupo's in position here. Oh, what a rally. Lightning reactions from all four players on court. But the final strike of the ball from Daniele Lupo gives Italy the score.
Here it is. Loyola Stein stuffs the ball, thinks it's down, and then it comes over again. He throws it back, and it just can't hit the sand for the Brazilians. Lupo finds the third effort. Here's the first one. It's stuffed. Great cover. Second one blocked. Another beautiful cover. Then they shoot it outside to the antenna. They make Loyola Stein move laterally. He doesn't get there in time, and just beautiful offense by the Italians, and that may be the play that pushes them over the top.
World-class beach volleyball here. Italy just 2 away from wrapping up this match. Here's Loyola for Brazil on the attack. And again, he beats that block of Paulo Nicolai. Side switch with 25 total on the board, but no break in play.
That's what I love about the third set. No technical timeout. Not a lot of stoppages of play. And as you mentioned, it goes quickly.
Loyola with the serve. Nicolai is the target. Here's the big man for Italy on the attack. And he's successful. Match point for Italy at 14 points to 12.
Been a huge test for Paulo Nicolai, and so far he has really passed it. Almost 90+% of the serves going his direction. It's been one-dimensional, and let's see if they can close it out.
Oh, the big serve works wonders in the last play of the match. 15 points to 12. Italy beat Brazil 2-1 in one of the most dynamic and explosive matches of the tournament so far. Some truly world-class beach volleyball demonstrated by the South Americans and the Europeans, but it is Italy that come out on top. And Dane, there is no question, a little sigh of relief from the European boys, but they will savor this victory today.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? They had to work for it, and we mentioned it earlier. This could easily been the final here at the World Championship. I mean, you have the number 8, the number 17 seed, but both of these teams have been spectacular. We mentioned the Italians, silver medalists in Rio. They know how to get it done, and I am so impressed that the Italians were able to overcome the blocking of Loyola Stein. He was on fire, looked like he was going to take over the entire match, but the Italians held their composure, and in the end, they prevailed.